we say thank you again for coming as we prepare to share concerns around the SNAP benefits and the crises that we are facing in our state as well as in our country. We have several individuals that will come and share with you, and at this time, with no further ado, we're going to ask if those individuals would come.
Good morning. My name is Councilwoman Phyllis Smart, and I bring you greetings from the town of Fairfax and the county of Allendale. I'm so proud to stand here this morning with this coalition that I'm a part of, with partners and leaders from all across the state that care deeply about our citizens, our people. I'm the executive director of a Smart Box. I know firsthand what hunger looks like. I literally have dealt with hunger in Allendale County, which is the poorest county in South Carolina. We rank 46 out of 46 for high poverty and low education, and we are considered a food desert. So firsthand, I know what it looks like because every month I'm feeding about 1,200 families. That's children, that's older folks, that's younger folks, but we are feeding 1,200 families every month. And so we know what it's going to begin to look like when SNAP is cut on November 1st. Because what has been happening in our county now is that people have been coming and they're in need of food. So this thing is growing, and it's growing fast. And it will grow faster after they realize that they will no longer have the SNAP benefits. I'm asking you all to really take a strong look at what is happening. On the other day, I got a call from our superintendent of schools, and she said, Phyllis, what are we going to do for our children? And I told her, I said, we're going to have to do what used to be done before. We have to become that village again. And in becoming that village, if it takes the time for us to be able to pack sandwiches and snacks and juices and send them home every day, that's what we're going to have to do. We heard from our federal prison in Esther. In 2021, we literally, we serviced the Esther prison because the workers did not have food, and we did a drive for them, and we're going to do a drive for them again on November 1st. And you have to think about it, these people are not able to put food on their tables because they're not getting paid. The faces behind these headlines are real people, they're real families. That's why I want to take up a moment to lift up a leader who just didn't talk about doing something. He did it. I think that's why we might get along so well and we have good conversation, because that's how I am. I don't talk about it, I literally do it. And Brandon Brown is doing it. He's taking the initiative to go across South Carolina and be able to help the people. It is not just politics for him, it is the people that he's truly concerned about, and that is what moves my heart towards Mr. Brown, because he's been focused this whole time on making a difference. He's no longer just thinking about the problems, but he's finding solutions. And food is one of the greatest things that has ever been. I heard Pastor Bishop T.D. Jakes say that the most greatest ministries started over a dinner table. So they started over food. And he understands that we can't wait for Washington to act. We have to act now. We have to do something our own selves. So to tell you the truth, Brennan has put together an army of people to be able to come together and tackle this problem. I'm so thankful that he chose me to be a part of this. This is the kind of leadership we need in South Carolina. We need someone that's going to attack it straight on. We don't need to constantly complain about things, but we definitely have to make things happen in South Carolina. Because Brandon's vision and this incredible coalition, we will expect between 150 to 200 people to receive groceries in my city of Fairfax this weekend, November 1st. And that's just the beginning. Our coalition is scheduled to do distributions in 7 locations across the state, from Anderson County to Jasper and to Orangeburg to Chester. This is about feeding families, restoring hope to people, and reminding them that somebody still cares, and that person is Brandon Brown. I'm proud to stand with Mr. Brandon Brown. I'm proud to be a part of this coalition because I believe in you, and I know that the people believe in you as well. You are our modern day Nehemiah. You're doing a good work, and you cannot afford to come down. We thank you, and may God bless you, and may he keep you. May he bless every volunteer. May he bless every family that comes in contact with us as we go on this journey together. I thank you so much, Mr. Brandon Brown.
My name is Reverend Charles D. Curitan. I am the proud senior pastor of the Friendship Baptist Church, where we love God, live God's word, and love God's people. And I am excited to be a part of this partnership with Brother Brandon Brown and his team. We know this is some very trying times that we're in right now with the SNAP benefits being frozen for November. But I'm reminded of the great Samuel DeWitt Proctor. He says, every crisis deserves a response. And we could sit here and not do anything, but like the young lady just said, Brother Brandon Brown and his team are making it happen. I sit on the advisory board with the Harvest Hope, and the shelves are empty. So we have to be able to make a difference and make change happen today. It's not time to wait. It's time for us to make a difference right now. I'm reminded of a quote, I believe was coined by Theodore Roosevelt. John Maxwell used it. He said, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And as the leadership, as the laity, as well, we need to come together and make a difference in this community and this country. And I'm excited to see what God is going to do in us and through us as we come together and work together to make a difference. Thank you.
One of our key partners, Michael Brown, is not able to be here this morning. With that being said, I do have a written statement from him that I would like to share at this time. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Brown, Executive Director of Sustaining Way. I'm sorry I couldn't be there this morning. With honor and excited to join this incredible coalition that Brandon Brown has brought together to serve the families of South Carolina. At Sustaining Way, we believe in creating sustainability, caring, and an equality community. And that starts with making sure every family has access to healthy food and hope. Together from our farmers, nonprofits, and faith partners, we're not just responding to a crisis, we're building a community that takes care of its own. Our trucks are delivering fresh produce and groceries and essentials to each location outlined in Mr. Brown's initiative. These trucks will have enough food to feed roughly 150 families at each location. We have the capacity to do more, and we want to do more, but donations are needed and can be made to Sustaining Way at sustainingway.org. Each truckload cost is roughly $3,000. We're proud to stand with Brandon and with all of you in this vital effort.
Good morning. As I begin my remarks today, I like to simply open and close with 2 pertinent quotes by a former president and visionary that came to office during a similar time of unprecedented change in our country and the world. And for those who don't know me, I'm State Representative Jerry Govan. I represent Lexington, Calhoun, and Orangeburg counties in House District 93 in the South Carolina General Assembly. But I'm here also in the capacity as the Executive Director of the Nick Stilton a community improvement organization, and I'm proud to say I have the president of the organization, Mr. Harry Govan, who is with me today. That individual's name that I referred to was John F. Kennedy, and this is what he said: "If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich." On this past Tuesday, Governor McMaster announced plans to activate the One South Carolina Fund in a response to address the looming food crisis as a result of the anticipated loss of SNAP benefits beginning in November. Now, considering the fact that this amounts to approximately $102 to $106 million per month, it goes on to say that considering the emergency appeal in response to Hurricane Helene, if we compare it with that in that particular crisis, only $6 million was raised and only $4 million was distributed. We can reasonably assume, as a result of that certainly this will not be enough in terms of addressing the need, because there are 269,383 households. That's some 560,000 plus clients across South Carolina that have need of this service. That is why I think it's important that we look at everything from logistics to financial resources and look at our own internal processes as a state of South Carolina and as a General Assembly that will allow us to pull together a more effective response in the future for not only this need, but also in any potential disasters to come. It's important that, not only important, but imperative that we collaborate to provide assistance to those who need it most, in need of risk, who are at risk for hunger for a variety of reasons, of which over the half are the most vulnerable in terms of our society, which are very young and elderly, those who are over the age of 51 years of age, when it comes to addressing their nutritional needs. That is why I took the time to look into my own counties that I represent. And I found some startling information, and by the way, this information, I requested it and I was happy to receive it from our Department of Social Services for the 3 counties that I represent. But I invite my colleagues all across the state of South Carolina. You can go and click on any county and they'll give you a breakdown of who receives SNAP benefits. And the reason why this is important, I think it's about time we stop playing politics with the needs of the people. In the counties I represent, we have 12,061 households that will be affected in Lexington County alone. In Orangeburg, it'll be 8,348 households that will be affected because of the SNAP cuts. In Calhoun County, 1,025, out of a state which will have over 269,383. But when you break down the numbers and look at the number of folk affected in terms of clients, of the 26,423 clients in Lexington County, 8,000 of them plus are below the age of 10 or younger, and 5,345 of them are elderly or over the age of 51. When you break it down according to gender, 60% are female, and I'll just round up these numbers very quickly. African Americans, 40%, 39.3. Caucasian Americans, 55.78%. Hispanics, 10.64%, and with the average benefit being $406.54. This is amazing. When you look at Orangeburg, you're talking about 16,000 clients. 4,538 of them are below the age of 10 years of age. 51 or older, 4,266. Majority, again, 61% female, 38% male. And of course, in terms of race and looking at race, 78% are black, 20% white, and 1.98% Hispanics. Calhoun, over 1,000 households. Clients, 1,979 individuals. Birth to 10, 500. Those who are over the age of 51, 590. 58% female, 41% male, 66% African American, 32% white, 1.72% Hispanic, with a benefit of $342.97. Ladies and gentlemen, the numbers speak for themselves, and what it tells us is that this is not a black problem or white problem. It's about the haves and the have-nots, and that there are needs all across the state of South Carolina. That is why we cannot stand by and wait on the solution from Washington to solve the problem, because I almost can guarantee you for a fact that no member of Congress nor the president will ever have a second thought about going hungry or having to meet their health or nutritional needs. We should have a moral and ethical obligation in this country, the wealthiest country in the world, to ensure certain basic needs that are met, and it needs to be about people and not politics. As such, we, the members of the Nick Stilton Road Community Improvement Organization, are willing to assist in supporting the distribution of food to those of need in our area, and are happy and proud to join this coalition. And I want to thank Brandon Brown for contacting us and having the discussion and finding us a way to assist those of most need in our community. Not only are we willing to make that commitment, we are working with the Faith Group for Action, Ministerial Alliance, individuals in the community, and Brandon, and I want those to know that my wife and I are also pledging $1,000 towards the purchase, going towards the purchase of the truck that will come in to provide the food to individuals of need in our community. On behalf of the leadership, we again want to thank you for your assistance in making this possible as we move together another step forward in addressing the needs to achieve our goal of revitalizing our community. I want to end my remarks with this thought. One person can make a difference, and everyone should try. John F. Kennedy, Jr. Thank you.
Good morning. I want to thank Representative Jerry Govan, Councilwoman Smart, Pastor Curitan, Pastor Cummings, Brother Anderson, and President Govan. We know that South Carolinians are hurting. We see the crisis that has arisen with the SNAP benefits being cut in our state. And it reminds me of Miss Patterson in Fairfax, who is directly affected by this. Has full-time job, part-time job, but still it's not enough, depending on these benefits to help secure food and resources. I think about Patricia and Aiken, more than half a century of working, 56 years, now living on Social Security and SNAP, and still taking small gigs because the bill won't wait. These are people that play by the rules, believe in the system, and still got left behind. We call them the working poor, not because they opt out, but because they opt in. People who are making contributions and people who deserve dignity. We have to stand up and look at the facts. Last year, SNAP reached over 41.7 million people each month. That represents about 12.3% of the U.S. residents in our state. And we believe here in South Carolina that 260,000 people, in essence, will not have access to quality nutrition and food. our households that deserve benefits deserve better than what Governor Masters has said. One SC fund is just a stepping stone, but it doesn't solve the problem that the federal government should be addressing for our citizens. Senator Lindsey Graham has offered his congressional pay and not to be paid, but that's not enough. And what we see is that political hypocrisy is not the answer. This amounts to an arson, setting a house on fire, then turning to a victim with a cup of water. Lindsey, you started this fire, and we call on you to step up and put it out. In this shutdown of the federal government, Senator, that's your job. That's why I am starting Saturday as we move from words to action. We move to call on our citizens to step up and help people. People do not deserve to go to bed hungry. And we, as people with compassion, are stepping up with action. I am so proud to partner with Sustaining Way, the Smart Box, and a broader coalition to help the citizens of South Carolina gain access to food for their benefit. We must work together to establish dignity and to work to help South Carolinians. And that is why we're gathered here today. It's not about politics, but it's about action. It's not about putting political parties first, but it's about putting South Carolinians first. And as we work together over the next week to deliver over 100,000 pounds of food to citizens across our state, we know that we're working hard to demonstrate that we care and we have compassion for people. Where we are today in this chaos is showing and demonstrating that we understand that people come first and people are humans. And people that are humans deserve representation that actually cares about their interests. So I'm asking you to join me today to help support South Carolinians. Each truck costs about $3,000. And sustainableway.org is willing to partner with us to ensure South Carolinians get good food. And so I'm asking you to join this movement to help us make sure South Carolinians do not go without food. I thank each and every one of you. I ask you stand with us as we protect citizens, and I ask you stand with us as we put South Carolinians first and we move forward. Again, thank you. I am Brandon Brown, your candidate for United States Senate, and I want to say God bless each and every one of you.
Now we'll take questions from the press.
Okay, so this is, we're looking at a $100 million shortfall for SNAP benefits in South Carolina alone, over $100 million. What do you think the role, with this coalition, what do you think the role of private philanthropy or philanthropy is in addressing this problem?
We know the church has always been in existence to help people. We know that organizations like the Smart Box and organizations pull together when people are in time of need. And I am compassionate about making sure people are not hungry. Children need to be fed, senior citizens need to have access. And so when government fails, we step up to the table. And that's why we're here today, because we're demonstrating by the unity of people collaborating that we want to do what's right for our citizens. And so that's why we're here today, to show to the government that if you won't serve people but power, we're going to serve people.
As a candidate, this kind of shutdown has kind of been, in some ways about these healthcare subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, and Democrats have said they're holding out to negotiate some of these subsidies. People on November 1st on Saturday are also going to have to start enrolling in their healthcare plan if they're participating in that marketplace. How would you maybe go about negotiating that in this government shutdown to kind of make sure people are getting their SNAP benefits, but also maintaining lower health care?
Well, we need to be clarified that the Republicans control the White House, they have the majority in the Senate, and they have the majority in the House. So this is not a Democratic shutdown, it's a Republican shutdown. The Republican Party has failed to represent working class citizens in South Carolina. And the message we have to send is the Democratic Party are for people. The Democrats are out here in the streets working to protect people, while the Republicans go off and hide, won't have town hall meetings, won't talk to people, and then suggest that it's a Democratic shutdown. Well, how do you have the majority of all the federal government and try to blame one party? And that's just not just. We believe that if the Republicans are serious, that they would come to the table. They are neglecting people's health care. People die because they don't get insulin. People die because they don't get their prescription drugs. And this is not a definition of what Democrats do, it's a definition of what the Republicans won't do. So I do not agree with this is a Democratic shutdown, because the Democrats are working for people. And so I stand here today to say to Senator Graham, instead of staying in Washington, D.C. and coming down here to South Carolina and looking at your people, do something instead of blaming people. Stand up, Mr. Graham, and be a senator. But we know that won't happen, because a man that abandoned his brother, John McCain, when Donald Trump talked bad about him, will not stand for people in South Carolina.
This is a human issue. So, not necessarily a partisan issue. As Representative Govan just talked about, this is going to impact people that actually live in, even at the state level, in heavily, Republican dominated regions. When we look at the human aspect of this, and Councilwoman Smart was talking about how it's going to get real when benefits really do shut down. When you think about what this effort is going to do across some of the poorest places, what are some things that you're thinking about in the interim of how to sustain this movement, how to keep it going, and how to really unify people that are in vulnerable places that may not really know what's going on in Washington?
I agree with Councilwoman Smart that we have communities that are underserved from an education perspective. We have to be working to put mechanisms in place to where people can get good training for good jobs. People want a good household, they want good food, and they want to have the ability to sustain their family. So we just can't look at it just from a food standpoint, but we got to look at it from an economic standpoint. And the economics is that we know in South Carolina that we are short almost 1,000 plumbers. We're short almost 2,000 electricians. We have to empower our people across South Carolina to get good training so they can get good jobs. A good job means you have the income to sustain your family. So we're at that situation now where our local government needs advocates that are going in and fighting for working class people. And we have to utilize the people like Representative Govan, who's fighting every day for South Carolinians. Councilwoman Smart, who is just not sitting down but standing up and saying if there's a deficiency, we're going to address it. And so that's what we have to do together. It's not just talk, but we have to put action into the works. And that's what we're here to do today.
Now, Mr. Brown, what do you think it's going to take to get the Republican legislators to address these concerns and possibly end the shutdown?
Well, there's an issue we don't want our brothers and sisters in the Republican Party just to come back to open up the government, but we want them to do a job. Working and discussing and negotiation is a critical point. The Speaker of the House has been a disgrace to the United States of America, only because he doesn't want the Epstein files to come out. That's why he won't sit a member of Congress. So is it really about people, or is it about trying to hide something? Right now we're in a crisis. People are hurting and struggling, and we need representation that's not afraid to tell the truth. And right now I'm calling on the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives to step up and seat this elected official to represent the district. I know a vote is scary, Mr. Speaker, but you have a job to do, and I'm calling on you to do your job. I want to thank the members of the press to be here today. Really appreciate you coming out, covering this event. South Carolina is hurting, and we need help. And I need you to help us, help citizens get food, help citizens get nourishment, and help citizens get their medicine. I can't thank you enough. And I want to say to each South Carolinian and people across the nation, God bless you, keep you, and let us always lift up our troops. Thank you.